Tervetuloa Ustavani. Welcome to another episode of Finnish Photo Fridays. And for once, it's actually Friday, although this video is going to be uploaded on Saturday. So Friday, but not really Friday. Anywho, once again, I'm your host, Matt DeRizio, author of Finnish Mosin-Nagant, 3-line rifle to Ukko Pekka. And this week, we've got a rather flashy image that highlights a rifle near and dear to my heart, as well as many other Finnish Mosin-Nagant collectors, the 27rv Cavalry Rifle, as well as another weird and wonderful Finnish contraption, the dummy Soimi M31 submachine gun. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this week's photograph. What you're seeing here is a Finnish cavalry column on parade after exercises in the fall of 1939, just prior to the start of the Winter War later that year. And looking at the detail, we see soldiers on their mounts with their M27rv cavalry rifles slung across their backs. And this isn't something you see every day, and it really transports us back to a different era of military operations. Looking at this photo, we can see the, cavalry moving slowly, some kind of parade, can almost hear the sound of the hooves, creak of leather, disciplined movement of these soldiers and their mounts. And these Finnish cavalry are from either the Hämeen Ratsurykmentti, otherwise known as the Häme Cavalry Regiment, or it could also be the Uudenmaan Rakuunarykmentti, otherwise known as the Uudenmaa Dragoon Regiment. And the M27rv Cavalry Rifles you see are just a shorter, handier version of the standard M27 Mosin-Nagant, designed to be easier to manage from the, riding on horseback and slinging it across your back with different style sling fittings. But we'll get into that in a little while. So let's go ahead and take a deeper dive and looking at this here photograph. So, taking a deeper look at the photograph, we can see the cavalry troops heading down the road, and they've got their M27rv cavalry rifles slung across their backs. There's a special sling for the M27rv. I have one on mine that you'll see later on in this video. And they've also got the intact unit discs. The M27rvs never lost their unit discs because both URR and HRR stayed as composite, essentially they weren't disbanded and broken into different units the way that a lot of other Finnish formations were during World War II. And some of the other stuff we can see it's pre-war. They've still got gas masks on their back. And then as you move towards the front of the column, look at this gentleman right here. Yeah, I've got my cursor over it. That is a dummy Soimi submachine gun. And what that's meant to do is there's a little crank on the side of it and it makes noise. So why he has that, did he not deserve an M27rv? Did they not have enough Soimis? I don't know, but I looked at this photograph pretty closely and I noticed that. And one of the other things you can see is they've got their bayonets still. You can see a bayonet on the back of the soldier second closest to the camera. It's either a M27, M29, it looks like. If there's a grease hole there for it, a cleaning hole, possibly an M35, hard to say. But yeah, it's a really interesting photo because there's not a lot of pictures of the M27rv in use. And this is one of the better ones where you can really see it clearly in profile. You can tell that these rifles haven't been upgraded. They don't have the popsicle stick upgrades on the nose cap. They've got their original stocks, and they've got the bent bolts in them, everything else. Really, really neat stuff. As for the troops involved in this photograph, as I noted earlier, it's either the Hämeen Ratsurykmentti, otherwise known as the Häme Cavalry Regiment, or it's the Uudenmaan Rakuunarykmentti, which is the Uudenmaa Dragoon Regiment. And the only difference is one of these is officially a cavalry regiment. The other one is a dragoon regiment. In practice, they were used the same. Dragoons are mounted infantry that are supposed to dismount and fight off of their horses. Cavalry is supposed to fight off horseback. In practice, neither one of these units ever had any mounted actions during World War II. World War II is really the nadir of cavalry in usage. I was just reading a book about the American Army in the Philippines and the 26th Cavalry Regiment, which was the last American cavalry regiment to fight on horseback. it's really a dated concept by that point. But in Finland, there was some utility, especially in some of the more wooded areas, more rural areas without roads, for cavalry to be useful. And these were the only two large cavalry units that existed in the Finnish army. There was a training unit, which had a different unit designation, but we're not talking about them right now. And they really go by their abbreviations. So you see URR for the Uudenmaa Dragoon Regiment, or HRR for the Häme Cavalry Regiment. And they're referred to as regiments, although their TO&E, their table of organization and equipment, for each of them was actually closer to the size of an infantry battalion. These two regiments were the only units within the Finnish army that were issued with M27rv Cavalry Rifles and swords. And the M27RV's got a near mythical status amongst Finnish and Mosin-Nagant collectors today due to its rarity and desirability. And like I said before, it's hard to see, but one of the guys near the front's got that dummy wooden Suomi M31 submachine gun training replica. And these were important in the Finnish army. The Finnish army was poor. We covered that previously in my 22 video when we were talking about why they had 22s in the first place. Ammunition was expensive before the war. And having a weapon that was essentially a noisemaker was helpful at times to simulate live firing. It generally mimicked the real Suomi M31 in shape and size, but like I said, had a crank wheel and a wooden flap that made a racket. And this clanking sound that it made when it was cranked mimicked, the sound of automatic fire. It reminds me of, my days long ago of being a cadet, and we carried around rubber ducks, M16A1s that were non-functional weapons, bang, bang, bang on an ambush in the woods. Very similar thing right here to master the fundamentals of tactics. Certainly odd to see one in a parade photo like this, but its existence there highlights, number one, the fact that they were used pre-World War II. I've got some wartime photographs of them being used as well. And I'm really curious why that Finnish cavalry trooper's carrying one in the first place. Like that poor dude. Did he do something wrong? Did he not get to have an M31 submachine gun? I have so many questions that we're never going to go to the answer to. As for the M27rv Cavalry Rifles, seeing them here with Finnish Cavalry, hardly a surprise. The M27rv changed very little during its brief production run. It's got a lot of features it shares with its M27 infantry rifle counterpart that it was developed from. One of the biggest differences between the standard M27 infantry rifle and the M27rv Cavalry Rifle involved the new stock and the shorter barrel. And the most glaring difference that everyone sees almost immediately is the Mauser carabiner style stock of the latter. The Finnish cavalry units preferred the carabiner style stock. It eased the rifle's handling. You could carry it across your back more easily. And with the M27 infantry rifle, the M27rv Cavalry Rifle is also equipped with the same rotating sling swivel on the buttstock. And at a glance, you can also tell what they are by the distinctive bent-down bolt handles with the knurling on the underside. While these bolt bodies are bent, they're not elongated like a sniper bolt, and they're really unique amongst Mosin-Nagant bolts. The only models you're going to see them on are the M27RVs. Even the M91RV Cavalry Rifles, which we'll talk about in another video, had standard straight infantry bolts in them. And in a large part, due to its distinctive features and heavy combat usage, there's just a general lack of knowledge on the part of collectors about the M91RV. But hey, that's a story for another Finnish Photo Fridays. So once again, thank you for joining me. I'd love to get into these models a little bit more. We'll probably do a separate video on the M27RV Cavalry Rifle, on the M91RV in the future. So let me know now in the comments which video you want to see next in terms of one of those. It's been a while since I did a comprehensive Mosin breakdown video like I did with the M2876 and the M2766. But once again, thank you for joining me. Nahtan Pian Udelin Ustavani. And I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see all of you in another video.